What I'm going to talk about today are reverse lunges, single leg deadlifts, even forward lunges, and this unloading or collapsing into the midline that I see a lot of people do. And I don't think it's because they can't control their femur. That's what you get from a lot of the quote experts, is they need better femoral control. I think it's just the setup. A lot of beginners, especially and novice lifters, when they set up to do that exercise, they'll get out how they normally stand. They'll be about shoulder width, hip width, and their weight will be distributed 50-50. What happens when it's 50-50 is, as soon as I step back into my lunge, my working leg is going to have to go from supporting 50% of my body weight to 100% of my body weight through the movement, like that. The problem with that is, your leg can't figure it out fast enough, and your knee and foot are going to collapse in. You're going to step in, and it's going to collapse to try and fill the void from half of your body weight being cut out from under you. So a better strategy is take about 85 to 95% of your weight, as much as you can, put it on this leg. You should be able to move the non-working leg freely. You shouldn't be loaded at all there. If you're going to have the toe down, it's maybe 5% of your body weight. It's really inconsequential. That way when I move back, I've already got my hip loaded, I've already felt my heel, I've gripped the ground, I'm telling my brain this is where I'm moving from, this is where I'm loading. So when I move back, I'm automatically going to fire correctly, keep the knee in line, pull myself through, and just tap again. I'm never going to come back, come to the top, and then stand on both legs. The minute I stand on both legs, I'm taking all this load on this hip, and then I'm unloading into each of them. So if I move from this position again, I'm going to collapse. If you need to take a second after a couple reps, remember, when they get hard, treat them as sets of one. So I get to the top of the rep and I need to cycle through a couple breaths. It's fine to stand here while you're cycling those breaths. But before I move again, I need to load my hip back up, get everything tight, get my setup correct, and then move. So next time you're doing lunges, single leg deadlifts, it's the same thing. When you come through the movement, you never want to come to the top and then step down. If I try to move from here, I'm going to be 50-50. I'm going to instantly collapse when I move forward, or I'm going to bend at the waist. I want to be set up. This leg should be good off the ground. I'm telling the brain I'm going to move. Well, I'm going to move from this hip. I'm going to drive my hip back, and I don't have to worry as much about being 50-50. And then when I move, collapsing to the midline to make up for the other leg that was just there. So next time you do any type of single leg exercise where you start out in a 50-50 stance, remember to get all of your weight in the midfoot to heel, big toe on the ground, this hip set, and feel the weight on this hip and this heel before you move. If you need to reset, that's fine, but make sure before you move, you've got this hip, the active hip, whichever one you're going to create motion at, you've got it loaded.